Alrighty, good morning everybody. We made it to Friday. It's July 12th, 2024. Let's go ahead and jump back and take a look. Actually, the first thing I should point out here is tomorrow we do have a webinar. There is a special event going on here starting at just about 10:15 a.m. Central Time. So that would be 11:15 a.m. Eastern. That will be the beginning of the event, Investor Summit Prop Trader Special Event. We will be presenting at 12 p.m. Eastern. And there's a number of other great presenters, so you do have to go ahead and register for this. And again, it'll be tomorrow from about 11 Eastern to probably about 4:35 p.m. Eastern. So a full day of some really great, valuable trading information. Hopefully we'll see you there. I'll put the link in the description of the YouTube video. Let's go ahead and jump back to yesterday. Now, yesterday was a pretty easy market to trade, if you ask me. Let's go ahead and jump back to the open here and take a look at what happened. So there was obviously a big pop when we had the news drop at 7:30, right? We had CPI and jobless claims, led to a big pop in the market up to a new all-time high. And then they corrected right back down basically to where they started there in the pre-market. And you can kind of zoom in and see they had a lot of trouble right at VWAP, right at one of our daily power levels there. Pulled back and held right out of the open here. Let's just take a look here. They did test into VWAP, so there was an opportunity if you wanted to try and fade that. Of course, they held the previous daily close to the tick there, one of our daily power levels, and then started to try and retrace that little correction we got in the pre-market there. Unfortunately, they got as far as our new support and resistance, which was an extension level in the market. That was one of our targets. So like I've been saying for the last couple weeks, as the market's pushing up into these all-time highs, as it's pushing, this is the 60-minute chart here, just pull it up. As it's pushing up into these new all-time highs, we have these beautiful targets that have been working basically to the tick for weeks on end. So right here was one of our targets pushing up to new all-time highs, came right to it. At the end of the day, that was the high of the day and pulled back. Our next target was right up into this extension level. We came right to it right after the market opened and got a big pullback for the rest of the day off of it. And then you can see just about a day or two ago, we came right up to this next extension level around 56.83, pulled back and then just chopped around for almost an entire day. I mean, that was hours and hours, all overnight, all right up to the open. And then again, we had that news event and they popped up. And so this is yesterday here. And then we held the back end of the next major extension level we were targeting. So they kind of came right up through and then pulled back and then held it to the tick there for the pullback. And there's, let's pull this back up. There is the hold to the tick. I mean, came right to it, kissed it, and then that began the sell-off yesterday. So out of the open again, fade off of VWAP would have worked, although you should have known you want to take profit at the previous daily close in case this very scenario happened, and an opportunity to buy the previous daily close and at least probably take some profit at the VWAP, probably just in front of this area, and you would have captured this nice little 10-point bounce. And so from there, you could have also tried fading the back end of our extension level there, where it was a bearish divergence, and we were testing into that area. It was also basically a 50% retrace of the whole sell-off, right? It was right there at about 50%. So decent opportunity there to try a short. If you shorted from there, you captured the entire sell-off for the whole day. If you zoom out and look at this whole push, came all the way down. So let's look at the whole ride down here. There were some beautiful holds on the back end of all of our roadmap levels. So we held the back end of 95.75 there to the tick, came on down, held the back end of the previous daily close, came on down a little more, and you can see how aggressive the sell-off was because the bulls couldn't even get back to the fast-moving average. When they did, you got yourself two more beautiful short opportunities there and then they came right down to our next, what's probably going to become a support and resistance level on our charts. This is basically, that's how they're acting right now, these extension levels. And you got yourself a beautiful double bottom bounce right off that discrete level, only to come up, and there is your first test of the 200 moving average after a crossover, price down below VWAP in a bearish trend. There is that textbook setup right there. Couldn't have gotten any easier than that. Came right back down off of there. There's the next tag of the 200 moving average again, in this case to the tick. Kept on selling off there. They tried to come up and test into the next step, right? If you were looking at this as a step down each level, they just missed it. And then they tagged the back end of 50% of the day before and the 200. And kept on going. Got right to this 45 level that we have as a support and resistance on the chart now. Petered out and then held it here for a continuation to the downside. And then you can see here's the step right off of it again. And again, so how many times did that 45.75, which was a level on our chart yesterday, work out for some beautiful rotations? Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times here you could have used that level to make some money. Unfortunately, that third test right there, they did go ahead and pop through. And then if you really kind of zoom in and look, it's almost like that level was then a support here, but not enough strength to pop out, and they came back down, right? And then if you zoom in, the end of the day, after the big sell-off, the end of the day here, the market chopped back and forth right between our roadmap levels. And the bifurcation, not necessarily a perfect 50% there, but our other roadmap level here ended up becoming kind of where the little mini rotations were happening, right? If you look at what was happening inside of here, once they finished chopping there, kind of holding the back end of it, and then they got above it, they started holding above it here for a while, and then they got back down below it, and I think this is where the market closed right here, right? So even though this level did get chopped around inside of here, it was still a very, very relevant chop box, right? So we nailed, again, the high of the day was our roadmap level to the tick, and then the low of the day was our daily power level, I think nearly to the tick. It was 1 or 2 ticks off from the low of the day. So just another day where our roadmap levels highlighted the 2 major rotations, right? The major high and major low of the day. And then if you faded the back end of these roadmap levels on the way down, you should have been able to make a whole bunch of money all the way to the previous daily low or daily power level there. And then as you can see, coming into, it was very choppy then at the end of the day. And now here we are coming into the open right now. And what do you know? That 45.75 level we've had on the charts for 2 days now is now holding the market down in the overnight session. And if you try to fade off of it with divergence yesterday off that high, you would have captured the whole, or in the overnight session here, you would have captured the whole sell-off from the PPI news that hit here at 7:30. So not too bad there. Now, like I said, here we are. The PPI news led to this big flush down, and interestingly enough, they came right to the next roadmap level on our chart, broke it by a couple ticks, a point or two, and now is popping back up. And as you can see now, 4 tests of that roadmap level with no dice so far for the bulls. So pretty awesome stuff if you ask me. Let's go ahead and jump up to the higher time frames now.